Hi, my name is Bindi, and today I just want to share some of my thoughts around innovation and creativity happening in regions that possibly we don't always consider or look into. I've spent most of my career working across Asia Pacific. I've had the opportunity to meet some incredible people, talent. One of the really impressive things is the way that technology is being used in these countries to create those experiences for people, whether it's travel, whether it's transactions, whether it's banking, whether it's just experiences. It's just so impressive. And I think for me, one of the things that probably when I was living there, I was experiencing it. It's not until I actually came back to the UK or was coming back on visits that I realised how much innovation was actually happening across Asia Pacific in countries that we least expect it, or we don't actually consider, or we're not actually looking to. But also I think from a professional perspective, it became a lot more evident when we are bringing use cases from the West that are actually really valuable, and we're able to really show and demonstrate value to the customer. However, those same use cases were just not applicable in many of the countries in Asia, because many of the, especially the regulatory and the sort of the heritage, the sort of traditional organisations, whether that's in banking and insurance, well, in many of the countries across Asia, they have skipped some of the stages, or many of the stages that we probably went through in the West, whether it's from checkbook right through to credit card to, telephone banking and then mobile banking. Well, all those stages in many of the countries in Asia are just skipped. They're just going directly to the latest innovative technology, which means that if you are, as a business, trying to sell into those countries and where you've got use cases that have worked really well in the West, they're not always applicable in Asia. So I think one of the biggest things from a professional perspective, and I believed was really important, was how do we bring local expertise in those regions, but we need to be able to globally integrate. So we need to also bring the SMEs from the West, because they know how the technology is working and what use cases are working. However, we need to be able to adapt to the local requirements, where technology is probably already advanced and some of the things might not necessarily be applicable. So I always used to find that really fascinating to see. And unfortunately, we do live in a world where we are, we have boundaries, we have borders. So, there's always this thing of, you see it and you think, why are you not just using or sharing? Luckily, within corporations, we are able to do that. So one of the things that I was used to enjoy doing was making sure that my teams across Asia Pacific were unleashed to bring that creativity, to bring that innovation, both for our customers, but also to be able to share it back with headquarters to give them insights into what we are doing and be able to utilise those and actually create new revenue streams, create innovation, create competitive advantage even in the regions in the West. I don't know what the answer is, but and really, how do countries look into that? When I look at, the infrastructure at the moment in this country with regards to transportation, and I think about my experiences of travelling in Tokyo or in Singapore or in Hong Kong, and it's just such a contrast, right, in terms of just the efficiency, the speed, and the cleanliness and the way that things just operate. So it's really fascinating. I think for me in this space, how does globally the world sort of learn from each other? And it's not just Asia. I think there's the African continent, there's Middle East. There's lots of innovation happening across the world. I do sometimes feel that we can be a bit blinkered to it and not really tap into what are actually people doing and what can we benefit from also by applying it. Granted, we probably have a lot more heritage, a lot more traditional things or old systems to deal with, but I still think there's opportunity to learn. And I believe it'll be interesting to see how things shape up in that sense, and I do try my best actually to make sure that when I have the opportunity to bring that creativity and innovation and to tap into talent in other countries and other regions, to be able to bring value to businesses or customers or individuals or society, that I am able to do that. But I just love this topic. I would love to be able to sit around a table from people from all different countries, and just hear their thoughts on a particular idea and how it's done in different countries and what the experiences are. I just think we don't do enough of that. Although one of my teams that I worked with in Singapore, I do believe we had about 11 nationalities working in that team. So that was really fascinating because everybody saw things from a different perspective, which was really valuable because the end product is always going to be much better when you've got, especially when you're dealing with complexities, you need cognitive diversity, but you also need to think about how people are doing it differently and what are they seeing that you're not seeing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this for today. It's a big, huge topic actually, and I love reaching out to people in my network to just have those conversations, to just say, based on their experiences of what they're able to do in certain countries, and then comparing to other countries that just haven't reached that space yet, especially countries that you're expecting to already be there. So thank you so much for listening, and if it is an area of interest to yourselves, I'd love to have conversations with people because I think best way to learn is to connect. Thank you for listening.